This week on Home by Novogratz. In this week's episode, Bob and Courtney pack up all 7 kids and head on down to Orlando, Florida. But not for Disney World, they're there for work. It seems a teacher down in Florida entered her school for a national competition and won. The competition hired Bob and Courtney to redesign the school's music room. And as an added bonus, the teacher gets a little makeover of her house. The school's principal gave a tour to Bob and Courtney and explained that the large room has a lot of space, but it's kind of a free-for-all with a lot of junk thrown in there. She wants something very inviting that will make the kids want to stay and also inspirational. The Novogratz typically pick color as the go-to solution. Tip number 1 from Courtney is when designing a large space to start in the corners and work your way towards the center. Since the large room is very multi-purpose, she divides it into quadrants. There's a music corner, there's an art corner, there's a corner for the teacher, and the 4th corner is a lounge hangout space so the kids can dream and be inspired. The basic off-white colors of the walls can stay, but they decide to punch it up with a little bit of color, namely by striping the doors of the storage closets and by adding a nice colorful border around the crown molding. They set to painting the doors a bright blue straight off, and tip number 2 is that when painting stripes, it's easy to make the stripe width the same as the width of your paint roller. Makes it go by much quicker. Courtney wants to jazz the space up with some fun retro light fixtures. And now that the workmen are set to working, she gets to go off shopping. She visits a funky retro boutique, and tip number 3 is when shopping in boutiques, always talk to the staff because they're very knowledgeable and they know what they're doing. Her next boutique stop is an import place, and she picks out a lot of Moroccan-inspired throw pillows for the lounge space. Tip number 4 is to mix and match with color and patterns to give any space a nice, informal, comfortable feel. Over at the winning teacher's house, Courtney sets to decorating the 2 children's rooms. Again, she goes with a nice white to give a good backdrop to the small rooms. And both here and at the music room, she gives it a punch of color with a nice border. In the bedrooms, they're colorful stripes, pink for the girl and blue for the boy. And back at the music room, they list the names of all different artists, basically any musician they can think of. And that way they feel that seeing the names will expose the kids to history and what's available and let them decide for themselves which musicians they like. Tip number 5 is a colorful border can make a small room seem large. The bedroom borders are painted by hand, but tip number 6 is to use a stencil for ease of application and quickness of installation, which is what they do at the music room. They finish off the music room with some colorful accents, a lot of really expensive equipment, and some typical Novogratz punches with a lot of word art. They install a big neon sign that instructs the kids to dream big. And tip number 7 is, don't be afraid to use neon, even in your home. The principal, the school, and all the children love the music room, and the whole thing's a smashing success. Back at teacher's pad, she's overjoyed by her jazzed up, decluttered rooms. And our final tip from Courtney is, every woman needs a pretty chandelier. Hear that, man?